What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Path of Passion podcast. We're on episode 2, and I am once again your host, Jason Holland. First of all, I just want to start out by saying thank you for the overwhelming support. I don't know if I expected it as much as it actually came across for the first episode, but thank you. Welcome to episode 2. Glad to have you on this adventure. And today, we're going to talk about college. We're actually going to start getting into some of the topics that I wanted to discuss. And today we're going to talk about college, more so because we are around that time of year where everybody is starting to make their college decisions. We're going to talk more so about what to look for in a college and things that I believe are important to look for if you do decide to go to college. Of course, this is coming from my perspective, especially as somebody who values hands-on experiences, somebody who has heavy ambitions for life, and somebody who has that entrepreneurship spirit. These are some things that I chose to look at whenever I chose Northwest Missouri State, and some things that y'all can also look at as important whenever you're choosing a university. But first, we're going to go into, again, the movie or TV show recommendation of the week. And actually, again, I got 2, but this time I've got a TV show and a movie. And I'm going to first start out by talking about the television show. And I've got to go with House of the Dragon. I am a big fan of Game of Thrones. And whenever I heard they were coming out with a prequel, I was so hyped. Say what you want about Season 8. I still, in my opinion, now, of course, I haven't watched The Sopranos or Breaking Bad, but I think Game of Thrones is easily my favorite TV show. And whenever I heard they were coming out with a prequel, House of the Dragon, I was so pumped because I think the Targaryen dynasty and the Targaryen family would be super interesting to look at. And this show is absolutely amazing when it comes to lore. Now, even if you haven't seen the original Game of Thrones, this show is still something that honestly is amazing. You really don't have to know anything about Game of Thrones. It kind of introduces you to the world still. It's an amazing show. Now, of course, fair warning, it is an HBO show. That's the best way I like to describe it. It's got some more extreme content, but it is an absolutely amazing show. If you like action, if you like political dramas, if you like adventure, if you like anything like that, super amazing show, and I highly recommend it. You can find it on HBO Max, or it's on HBO, the channel, if you are subscribed to that. I don't know what time the show airs. All I know is Season 1 just finished, so you can find all the episodes on HBO Max. Now, my movie recommendation for the week is a movie that is slowly becoming one of my favorite movies, and that is Baby Driver. If you love heist films, if you love action, if you love romance, if you love just a thriller, also, if you love music, this is the perfect film for you. Edgar Wright directs this, and basically it's about this getaway driver whose name is literally Baby. And he's the getaway driver. It deals with like him trying to escape the industry of being a getaway driver. And I think it's absolutely amazing. Great story, great characters. I can't remember the name of the kid who stars as Baby, but he does absolutely phenomenal. It's also got some well-known actors. Jamie Foxx is in it. John Bernthal, John Hamm does absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing movie. If you enjoy, like I mentioned, heist movies, if you enjoy like fast cars, if you enjoy music, I want to touch on that for a second within this movie, because the reason I mention music, and it's so important, is because the whole like film is edited to the beat of music. Edgar Wright did this as a creative decision. I think it's absolutely amazing. There's one scene in particular, I'm not going to spoil it, but all the like gunshots and all of the like action explosions are all timed to the beat of the music, and absolutely amazing. Baby Driver is my movie recommendation for the week. I don't know what streaming platform you can find it on, but as always, you can always rent it on Prime Video, Amazon Prime Video. But House of Dragon, TV show recommendation for the week, and Baby Driver are and that is my movie recommendation of the week. Got a little lost. All right, now we're going to go ahead and jump into the main topic of the week. Like I mentioned, it's college. And the first thing I kind of want to talk about is college decisions. It's that time of the year where everybody is applying for college. You're starting to decide, okay, this is where I want to go, filling out your FAFSA form. This is what I'm looking for. This is what I want to major in. And this was a big decision whenever I was deciding on a college. Like I mentioned in the last episode, I was looking at a few, and I'm not going to name names, but I ended up deciding on Northwest Missouri State University. And one of the main reasons that I decided on it was because of some of the amazing experiences that it provided me, some of the great hands-on learning, and I'm going to get into this a little more here in a second. But I kind of wanted to break down what my key tips, again, in my opinion, whenever looking for a college, especially from the point of view of an entrepreneur, somebody who's very ambitious, has ambitious goals for life. These are a few of the things that I decided to look for. And the reason they can kind of vary from just your average Joe Schmo looking at a college is because as somebody who wants to build businesses, as somebody who wants to go into the industry where college is kind of seen as ooh, why are you going to college? It's important to get that point of view, and there's some important things to look for if you do decide to go to a university or a 2-year college. This doesn't apply to trade schools because trade schools, of course, are always going to fall under these 4 points that I describe, or at least 2 of them. But whenever you decide on a college, these are a few of the important key factors. Now, the first one that I'm going to talk about is hands-on work and experiences. What I mean by this is when you're looking at a college, if you want to go into a field where they value actual experience and they value actual work history and they value those sorts of things over a college degree, this is going to be very important for you to look at. Now, again, bouncing back to my example, so Northwest Missouri State University, this is one of the reasons that I chose this university, is because whenever I got here, one of their key factors within their mass media department was that you get to work hands-on with industry professional equipment, and you get to work hands-on day one. So first day in the classroom, I pull up to the class. That was a weird way to phrase it. I pull up to the class, and it is Fundamentals of Electronic Media Production. So what this class does is basically we cover like Photoshop basics, the Adobe Creative Suite in general. We cover like just electronic media production. I really don't know how else to phrase it. But some of the things that we broke down in the class were we covered web design, covering how to create commercials, covering photography, anything to do with like media production. And one of the big things is I was expecting in this class was, okay, like the first day of class, we kind of sat down and we just sort of talked, and it was a lecture. Hey, this is what you're going to do. I was expecting that. But one of the first things to come out of my professor's mouth, and shout out to Adam because he is an amazing professor. That's what he has us call him, by the way. I'm not just calling him by his first name, whatever, but Adam Bocart, absolutely amazing. He basically says, hey guys, I just want to let you know that this is going to be a very limited thing. I hate lecturing to y'all, but unfortunately this is going to be a day that I have to lecture. But trust me, tomorrow we're actually going to start working hands-on on stuff. And I was like, wow, okay. So we do kind of a lecture, and we started off with photography. And he wasn't wrong. The very next day, we were actually like working on pictures. We're actually working on the software and how to edit them. We're working on different things, on different techniques that actually will help you with photography. And it was super cool to me. And that actually happened in another class. So this semester, my first semester, I was taking 2 major specific classes. And the second one was Fundamentals of Broadcast Operations. And we get into the class, same thing happens. Adam's teaching it again. We get in there, we pile into this room. There's like 24, 25 of us, and he says, okay, Unfortunately, this is going to be a day that we have to lecture, but here's a layout for the rest of the semester. So the rest of the semester, after today, we are going to be in the radio booth, and up until midterms, we are going to be creating radio shows every single day. You're going to be learning how to create by doing, and this is what we're going to do. And my mind was like, oh my Lord, I found the perfect school for me. And I say this to highlight why it's important for hands-on experiences because from my point of view and the way the world's going, and especially find this nowadays with more of my generation, Gen Z, is we are starting to see that we are going to college less and less. And it's because we're starting to recognize that these up-and-coming companies and these companies that are up front, the Apples, the Googles, the SpaceX, like not necessarily SpaceX, I'm not as familiar with that, but companies are starting to want experience over just a degree. And it's because they're starting to recognize that anybody can go out and pay thousands of dollars for somebody to say, yes, this piece of paper says that you know this. Okay, great. But do you actually know it? Because anybody can go get this piece of paper that says they know it, but do you actually know how to do it? And that's why experience and actually being able to work hands-on is so important because you're actually learning these skills. We're finishing up the semester right now. We've got a few more weeks. We got about a month left of actual school, so I think 3 weeks left of actual school in the semester. And that's why it was so important. We're actually getting in the studio. So right now, we got done with our radio unit, and we were legit producing radio shows every single day. So it wasn't just like, this is how you talk to a microphone. We got in studios just like this, and we got to sit down, and it was like, okay, you're going to be the host this day. You're going to be the director. You're going to be the interviewer. You're going to have news. You're going to have weather. We were given all these positions, and basically he said, okay, I'm going to show you this one day how to run through everything. We're going to do a little practice. You can get a spot at every position you want to run through. But studio's open every single day. Next Tuesday, we're starting in the studio. You better know your role. And I absolutely love that. It was super stressful, but I love the idea behind it because it's the idea that we're actually getting in there and learning how to work with this equipment that we're going to work with within the industry. Now, this semester, or this half of the semester, we're working in the TV studio. And I recently had a chance to go out to Indianapolis for National FFA Convention. And while I was there, I got to work with RFD and do a few interviews for RFD TV, do a few interviews for FFA Today, a show on there. And I got to go back behind the scenes in the control booth, or the control trailer. And one of the first things I noticed was the programs they were using in there were the exact same ones we were using in school, specifically the graphics program, because whenever you're watching a TV show, if you notice like the title sequence, like the little lower thirds is what they call it, the little title thing that says your name right here, those are all graphics, and they have to be pressed and played by somebody. And what I noticed is they were using the exact same program we were using in school, and I find that absolutely amazing. We're career ready day one. We are industry ready day one because we're learning how to use this equipment. So that's my first key whenever deciding on a college is looking into something that will offer you hands-on work and hands-on experience. Now, my second one is access. And what I mean by access is two keys. So talking about access to facilities, so access to equipment, access to industry level equipment, and second is access to minds / faculty, like just minds, people that will be able to give you feedback. I'm going to elaborate on the first one and the second one. So the first one is access to like facilities. Kind of like I mentioned in the previous point, is being able to have access to actual career ready, industry standard equipment is going to put you far ahead of everybody else because you're going to know what you're working on day one. Being able to get in the studio. So this right now, this is one of the recording studios we have on campus. I'm currently on Northwest campus in Wells Hall. And this is an actual like recording studio that we have access to. For my first episode, I was in one of the other studios. And I wish I could show you a video of it, guys. Like, I wish I could show you it. I will at some point, but like, it is a legit radio studio. And being able to have access to that equipment, being able to go in there whenever you have free time, whenever you want, essentially. So, like, it's currently 5 o'clock, so it's 4:59, so it's essentially 5 o'clock. Classes are out, but this building's open till 10 o'clock. And they do that so we actually have time to come in here, practice, time to come in here and perfect our craft, time to actually come in and use this equipment, see what we want to do, practice, experiment, go through with these different things. And I think that's super important because on your free time is whenever, like, that's what separates you. I think of it like a sports analogy. Whenever everybody can show up to practice, so everybody can show up to class, but it's just people that do the work in the off season, do the work in their free time. So for sports, that could be lifting, that could be conditioning, that could be watching film. For me specifically, and for school, that's actually being able to get into the studio, get into the science lab, get into the wherever it is, whatever your major is that you're considering, being able to get in there and actually work on your own time. That's what's going to separate the people that are going to do all right and the people that are just going to get by versus the people that want to go above and beyond and have extreme ambitions and have goals that they want to accomplish. That's what's going to separate them right there. Now, the second thing that I talked about access-wise is access to minds and access to people that can give you feedback. This is important because you want people that know their stuff. You want people that know what they're talking about. I'm going to take it sports-wise right now because I love sports. It's football season. Let's say you're a football player. And let's say you're trying to perfect your craft at quarterback. Would you rather get feedback from somebody like Patrick Mahomes or Josh Allen versus feedback from Davey Davidson down the street who sits on his couch and watches NFL every Sunday? Who would you rather get feedback from? The guys, Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes, Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers, those guys that have experienced it and know what they're talking about? Or the guy that just watches it, hasn't really done it, but is like, oh yeah, you should do this. I haven't done it, I haven't tried it out, but you should do this because this is what looks like it works. You can get anybody. Not anybody. Most teachers, most professors are going to know what they're talking about. That's just a given. They were hired by the university for a reason. They wouldn't have a job still if they didn't know what they were talking about. But you're not going to get every professor that has actually gone out and experienced it. So, for example, get in my university, Adam, I'm going to bring him up again because he's just one that comes to mind. So I can't remember if it was once he graduated, when he was in school, or I can't remember if it was when he was in school, internships, or after he graduated, or just summer jobs. But what he did was he worked as a broadcast operator for Sporting KC, for the Iowa Cubs. He actually went in and got industry-ready experience. He actually went out and practiced what he was about to preach as a professor versus a professor that came straight out of school, learned all this stuff, may or may not have gained this experience while in school because, again, depending on what college you go to, you may not get all this experience. Gained all this experience or came out of school, may or may not have gained the experience and is telling you this is what you should do. Okay, cool. Have you tried this out? Like, what are some different things you've tried out? I mean, I haven't really tried it out aside from a few classes in college, but this is what the books say you should do. This is what people are saying you should do. There's a big difference between those two, and you want somebody who is going to have real feedback, who is going to have real experience that they can bounce ideas off of you, that they can give you critiques that are going to make you better in the long run. The third key that I say you should look at are opportunities. Now, this is a given. Everybody talks about, well, you want to look for opportunities. You want to look for a college that's going to give you chances to do this. And this relates a little bit to the access and hands-on experience. But I'm going to elaborate a little more on schools that are going to give you opportunities for internships, jobs, and experiences. The first two, internships and jobs, are given. You're going to have opportunities for internships and jobs at most schools. This has to do with the access to minds and access to faculty who actually know what they're talking about, who have those industry connections. But the last one, experiences, is the key one that I want to key in on because not every school is going to be able to give you the same experience as another school. Again, pulling from my personal experience. Day one, I talked about this a little bit in the last episode. Day one, coming on campus, I knew I was hired to join our Cat Vision team. So Cat Vision in Northwest Missouri State is the team that if you've ever gone to a football game and you see the Jumbotron and you see all the cool angles, they are the team, they are the people. We are the people that make that happen. We are the people that get those clips. We're the people that make your experience at the game amazing. That is literally what we were told. Our job is not to get amazing, like not to get replays for TV, not to get all these things. Our job is to make your experience of the game amazing. I had that opportunity day one. I had that experience day one, actually working with a crew, actually knowing these things. I know how an actual crew works, and that's an experience that I will take away from this and I'll know going forward. Internships and jobs, again, now these can vary a little bit depending on school. So this university is going to have different internships and job opportunities than another school, but it kind of bounces into the next thing that I'm going to talk about, and that is proximity. What I mean by proximity is not proximity to your house, not proximity to your friends, your family. Proximity to a place, proximity to something that can help you propel your career forward, help you gain those experiences. This could mean, let's say you want to be an aerospace engineer. It'll probably be a good idea if you are within proximity of somewhere like Boeing, somewhere like SpaceX, somewhere like NASA. Because though you may not be working with them or be working there, you're going to be in proximity of people that work there, and you could run into people, you could stop by there. The odds of you being able to make those connections, being able to see that stuff firsthand, is a lot higher if you're in that proximity. This could be proximity to opportunities, bouncing off of the last few things. Let's say an internship I really want to get. This is an internship that I really want to receive is working for VaynerX in New York or California. Now, I'm in the Midwest. I'm in the middle of, not nowhere, but I'm in the middle of the Midwest. That's quite a ways away, about equal distance from California and New York. My proximity to those internships are not as good. If I decide I want to take this internship, if I apply and I get it, I'm going to have to get an apartment in New York City. I'm going to have to get an apartment in California. That's more money I have to spend. That's more travel. That's all this stuff. But if I were going to a university near that, proximity is a lot better. I could run into those people. I could stay where I'm already staying. That proximity is big whenever talking about what kind of college you want to go to, what kind of university, because this proximity could make or break what you actually end up doing. Now, the fourth thing that I want to talk about, the fifth thing I want to talk about, this is the fifth and final point that I have, and that is don't just go to college where your friends are or where your family wants you to. So the reason I say don't just go to school where your friends are or where your family wants you to is because in the end, you are the only person that knows where you want to go to school, that knows what will serve you best when going to a university. I'm not going to lie, I almost went to another school because my friends were there, because one of my best friends was going to this school, and I didn't want to be away from them. And I wanted to be able to go there, have experiences together, being able to hang out. But I didn't because I knew the school that I'm currently at would be the best one for me. It's important that you don't just follow your friends because, and this will get into the next point. This is a perfect transition for the next thing I want to talk about. So you've decided on what college you want to go to. And there's a lot of things that you're going to be able to experience at college. And being able to have self-discovery about yourself is a big deal. And that's actually one of the positives that I see within college. And I'm going to get into a few of the positives that I see in college. I can get into a whole nother episode and probably will in the future about some of the negatives, some of the bad reasons that people go to college, some of the issues I see with college. But I'm going to talk a little bit about the pros. And you don't just want to go where your friends are because you're not going to grow that way. You may grow. There's a chance that you grow, but you're more likely to grow if you go somewhere where you don't know as many people, where it's a new, uncomfortable, out of your comfort zone place for you. This is something that I did. Coming into college, I think I knew, I knew maybe 4 people here immediately coming in, and one of them, Lord, she lives in the room right below me, and me and her were pretty good friends in high school, and I say that messing around. But we knew each other, and we were the only 2 people from our school that came here. And that was kind of scary for both of us. I knew 2 other people through FFA that were coming here, but other than that, I was pretty much flying blind. I didn't know what to expect. I had to make new friends. I had to get outside my comfort zone and do things that maybe weren't the, again, most comfortable for me. But that's important. You have a lot of chances for self-discovery whenever you go to college because for the next 2 to 4 years, you are surrounded, 5 years if you're not so great and if you don't graduate on time, but beside the point, you are surrounded by the same people for the most part. Once you get out of your gen ed, you're going to start seeing the same people, same major as you, within the same building as you, within the same classes. And you're going to have a lot of different experiences. Those people come from way different backgrounds than you. And you're going to be able to talk to them. You're going to be able to network with them. You're going to be able to form friendships and relationships with them that will lead you to discovering things about yourself that you didn't know. You're going to maybe discover that, hey, maybe I actually don't believe this thing that has been a deep-seated belief in me my entire life. Hey, maybe I actually don't see the world this way. Maybe I see the world a different way. Hey, maybe I actually like this major over this major. It's all about discovering your true self. And that's also another thing about experiences that I didn't touch on, and I didn't realize actually until now recording. So one of the things with experiences too is you may experience, like in this major, let's say with me, I may experience broadcasting, and I really don't like it. And I realized after taking an elective class, I would rather do mathematics. That's completely false. I hate math. But that may have been a discovery that I had through experiences. It also helps you break out of your shell. This is a new chance, especially if you go somewhere where not a lot of people that you know are going. Even if you do, this is a new chance for you to reinvent yourself. This is one of the few times in your life that you're going to have where you can say, nobody really knows me. They don't know that I'm shy. They don't know that I'm extroverted. They don't know that I didn't play sports, that they didn't know whatever. You can reinvent yourself. Maybe you wanted to dress a certain way whenever you were in high school, but you were too nervous to because you'd been around these people your entire life, and you were afraid they'd make fun of you. You go to college, I can tell you I've probably seen 100 different styles, like fashion styles, my time on this campus within a semester. You can do that. Maybe you want to start being a better listener. You talked a lot. Maybe you want to start being a better listener. You can do that. People don't know otherwise. People won't question it because you're being really quiet. They just know you as a listener. You can reinvent who you want to be. You can reinvent yourself and how you want to be perceived by people. And I think that's an amazing thing about college. Also, another big thing about college is it gives you a chance to truly determine what you're passionate about. Maybe your passion isn't your major. There's a good chance it probably is. Maybe you just chose this major because it was a big moneymaker. It'll help you get by. I'm going to help you make a lot of money so you can live frugally and like have a lot of money whenever you retire. Maybe you decided to go to med school because your parents wanted you to, because you heard it was going to make a lot of money, and then you were pre-med, now you're going to go med school, but you took you took a music class, and you discovered you have a deep-seated passion for music, and you really want to be a music teacher. You really want to make music. Boom. You just discovered your passion, and you should pursue that 100%. You should 100% pursue that. Outside, this is a completely side note right here. You, the viewer, if you discover what your passion is, don't take that for granted, because there are so many people that never discover what they're passionate about, and it is one of the saddest things. Maybe it's because they didn't have enough experiences. They were too scared to take experiences. They were too scared to rock climb one time, but if they would have done it, they would have discovered they love rock climbing. Don't take that for granted. You 100% should look into pursuing that passion, either as a career, or if maybe you don't want to turn it into a career, just as a hobby, giving you something to do. The joy that people have whenever they are passionate about something is unmatched by anything else I have ever seen. So if you discover your passion, please take it from a random college student in the middle, in the middle of the Midwest, in the upper west corner of Missouri. Try and pursue your passion. Go after it. The worst that's going to happen is it doesn't work out. Oh, well, try something else. That's the greatest thing about life, is you have a chance to go on and try different things. We have a really short life. Try and pursue your passion. Doesn't matter what it is. If you like gaming, try and be a streamer. Try and be a video game designer. Do something with gaming. If you love sports, try and be an athlete. If you can't be an athlete, try and be a broadcaster. If you can't be a broadcaster, try and be a coach. Whatever it is, I beg you, just try it once. Try and pursue your passion. You don't even have to thank me. You will thank yourself later. But going back to college, so that's a big thing with college, is you gain all these experiences, you meet all these people, and you get all these things going, and you can start to discover what you actually love doing, what you actually enjoy doing with your life. Okay, after I've kind of just ranted about make like a college decision and some of the pros of college, and you're still a little bit confused, this is what I did. It's as simple as making a pros and cons list. Include everything from the 4 key points that I mentioned to money. I know money's a big issue for a lot of people. Include distance away from home if there is for some reason you can't get away from home. Include everything you can think of. It's as simple as a pros and cons list. And I know, just make the choice that feels right to you. Make the decision that you want to. Don't let anybody else influence your decision. Make the college decision that you want to. Because trust me, in the end, as we kind of wrap up here, you are really the only one that knows what you want to do. You should make the decision that feels right to you. You may get through the pros and cons list and realize, I don't want to go to college. Great. Spend that money somewhere else. Spend that tuition money somewhere else. Go gain an experience. Travel the world for a year. Travel the country for a year. Go gain that experience somewhere else. Like, college is such a thing that will be there forever that if you, for some reason, decide that you don't want to go to college, it is always an option. If you want to pursue something else, go for it. College will always be an option in the future. You can always come back to college. And this is for my people, not to discredit the people that want to go to college, because obviously I'm in college right now. But this is for the people that really feel like they're being forced to go to college. Go give whatever it is you want to a shot. That's what I want to leave you with today. Go give it a shot. I don't know what it is. You may be the only person that knows what it is. All I want to tell you, though, is to give your passion, give whatever pursuit it is, a shot. Because college will always be there.